In one short message, President-elect Trump has done what President Barack Obama and his administration have not done for 8 long years. He has confronted Islamic terror as terror, and he has identified many of the victims of Islamic terror as Christians and even said that they are killed in their places of worship. Good for the president-elect. Let's remember how far the Obama administration went in not labeling anything radical Islam or Islamic terrorist or Islamist in any way, lest moderate Muslims would be offended. Let's think of Nidal Abu Hassan. Let's think of the man who was the Fort Hood shooter. This was a slaughter. This was a massacre. This was our soldiers, our people being gunned down in cold blood by a man who identifies as a soldier of Allah, by a man who was mentored by Anwar al-Awlaki, who was a known Islamic terrorist. In fact, we took him out with a drone strike in Yemen a few years ago, who had even given speeches and talks that were espousing radical Islam, and who shouted Allahu Akbar as he killed our people. What did the Pentagon and the Obama administration label this? Workplace violence. It was only 6 years after, in 2015, that President Obama referenced this as terrorist, but still would not say Islamic. And our books that the Justice Department or FBI or law enforcement would use to try to prosecute this war against Islamic terror, they've been scrubbed from references to Islam because that would be considered offensive. What an outrage. So here, the horrific attack in Berlin. Remember, Islamic radicals said less than a month ago, we are going to attack Christians in Europe. We are going to attack them at their Christmas gatherings. So here in Berlin, from what we understand, an ISIS gunman takes this truck, this massive truck, plows into a crowded Christmas marketplace, attacks to kill children, women, men, 12 dead, more than 50 injured, an absolutely horrific attack. And our administration, not even the president himself, sends words of condolences about this apparent terrorist attack, still won't even mention Islam and calls it an apparent terrorist attack. And President-elect Trump sends out a message with condolences, but saying Islamist terrorists are always killing Christians. Yes, that is absolutely true. A horrific bloodbath in the Middle East and other parts of the world. Yes, Islamic terrorists are also killing Muslims in large numbers, but wherever they can, they target Christians and they wreak havoc on Christians. Look what's happened in Syria and Iraq and countries like that. Good for President-elect Trump to call this out for the evil that it is, to identify the ideology by name. This is not just people. This is an ideology that must be confronted, and to call on others who are peace-loving to join together to eradicate, wipe out, confront radical Islam. That's what government should do. It is God's agent of wrath against evildoers. Read Romans 13. While we pray for the salvation of these radical Muslims, we look for the government to do what it can to fight against this evil. Good for President-elect Trump calling it out by name.